Hello besties, this week we are doing a hand-painted tumbler tutorial. But before then, let me welcome you guys to our Misfit Makers Besties YouTube channel and make sure to follow us on all our social media handles under Misfit Makers. Click that subscribe button so you'll be notified of any new content and check out our website and our Patreon. So today for our tutorial, we are using this big 40-ounce handled tumbler. You can find this one at CCDIY website, and it comes obviously with a handle and a lid. I removed the handle and it's very easy just with a little Phillips screwdriver. Untwist it, make sure to keep all the parts, and then it's ready to go. You could also glitter over your handle, but I prefer not to. So here I am giving it one coat of pop of color in the color Lemon Meringue. While that dries, I am going to squeeze out all my colors that I'll be using. So as you see here, I have a nice, beautiful what is it called, pastel palette. Look at this, yeah, look at this pink. It's giving me grief. I gotta beat it. Pow, pow, pow. Anyway, so I put that one to the side and I went ahead with all my pastels. As you see here, it's lavender ice, peach. It's all peachy, light turquoise, cotton candy pink, mint, and lemon meringue. So all my pastel colors from Pop of Color. So finally, I got that pink to work. Make sure to clean off your tips and don't be like me. So anyway, as you see, my first coat is very streaky. It's okay. It's part of the design. Just let it dry. We just had to have a base. If you want, you could even spray paint it if you want. But it was windy, cold, and I refuse to spray paint unless I absolutely have to. The next step, as you see here, I'm just doing different strokes of colors, going back and forth from all my colors. You can see I do not rinse out my brush. I use the same one. I just wipe off any excess on a little paper towel. And I just go over back and forth until I see what I like. And then I let it fully dry after this step. Here you can see that I am layering my colors. Most of you guys know that I always preach, make sure to dry one coat before you go in with the second. This one is an exception because you want them to blend a little bit. So after this is dry, I gave it one coat of CCDIY Fast Set and it's fully dry. And now we're doing the hand painting. I apologize, this video does go a little fast because once you see one, you see them all, I feel like. So as you see here, I am just doing a blob of flowers. I don't know if you caught that, but I have one coat of epoxy on here already. So in the event that I do not like my flower blob, then I just wipe it off with alcohol. So I am just going to do florals all around in this nice blue. I'm using the same palette that I used on the actual cup. Also, you see here that my colors are very streaky and translucent. I did 2 coats on all my flowers. On everything, I do 2 coats just because I want it to be super pigmented. I missed a step here in recording and I'm just showing you guys how after my flower was dry, I went back and I did little purple streaks. Now I'm going with a different flower. Create your own flowers if you're not a what is it called? The flower studiers, a botanical garden master of knowing all the flowers. I just made my own flowers. I don't know if these actually exist, but as you see, I did little orange blobs of flowers, and then now I'm going with my center in the orange as well. See, and I did 2 coats on all that as well. Next, we're gonna go in with our leaf. I am doing just leafy leaves on some of the flowers, not all of them. The ones where I shows a lot of like gaps, that's where I try to insert little flowers or leaves, just kind of work at it. Again, I did 2 coats on my leaves as well, waiting for one to dry, and then I went ahead with the second coat. The amazing thing of Pop of Color is that it dries super quick. Well, it could be good or bad because sometimes you want it to be wet a little bit longer, but it does dry super quick, so it allows you to do a second coat very quickly. Again, I did 2 coats on those as well. After that, then I decided to get a little bit artistic here, and I grabbed the tip of my pen, of my brush, and I did a little bit dots in different colors. I just really like the look of it. You can always use your like the dotting tools, but I'm like, let me use what I have. I use different colors, same palette of these dots. I didn't have to do 2 coats on those because they're pretty pigmented because they're little blobs. So just go with that. After it dries, as you saw there, I kind of cleaned up some of the mess I made with alcohol. After this dries, you want to make sure it dries really, really well. Then I went in and applied a coat of epoxy. I used CCDIY's Fast Set. Also added a little bit of glitter additive for that sparkle, because as you know, this cup does not have any glitter. So here it is after it's cured with 1 coat of epoxy. I'm gonna lightly sand it, lightly. When I mean lightly, I mean lightly, guys. So don't go crazy sanding. After that, clean it off with a paper towel, and then you're ready to do the line work. This is probably my favorite part of it all. Like, I feel like this is what makes it or breaks it, makes it come together. Usually makes it, usually doesn't break it. I'm using a Posca pen in the color black and 0.9, I believe the tip is. So it's not like your fine tip, but it's the one right above it. It's still fine. So next you want to do a lot of outlining work. Outlining, don't worry about little like doodles or little like where you see that little spot right there where it kind of looks like my hand kind of wiggled. It's okay. You kind of want that. You want the wiggle look. You want it to be kind of like a doodle. If you make it too perfect, then you're going to have to make it all perfect, and then you're going to see the imperfections. If you leave little imperfections and you have little wiggles and little mistakes, then it looks like it's part of it. I hope that makes sense. Plus, adding little dots and little lines, it always embellishes it, makes it look more artsy-fartsy. So, as you see, I did the blue flower. Next, I'm going to work on my leaves here. Again, let your hand be wiggly. If you need to drink like 2 cups of coffee or a Celsius or whatever your choice of caffeine is, do it. So your hand is nice and shaky, because like I said, you want it to be like a doodle. You don't want it to be super straight, super perfect. Leave little imperfections. As you see, I have a little imperfection there. Leave it. Now, big imperfections, you can take care of easily. Speaking of imperfections, you can see here, wah. Take some alcohol and a little Q-tip, and just delete, erase, backspace, and just slowly wipe it off. No big deal. It comes off pretty easily just with alcohol. Don't leave it overnight though. Don't leave a mistake overnight, because then it'll maybe harder to take off. So after that, then we're just doing some of the fine tuning. Those little dots that I made, I'm using my pen and kind of accentuating them by circling them or outlining them a little bit, just all around, just to give it an extra oomph. After your pen dries, like all the line work that you've done dries, then you can do another coat of epoxy, and it should be done by now, especially since there's no glitter. It should be done. I use CCDIY's Fast Set as my last coat, and look at how beautiful it looks. I hope this inspired you to make your own hand-painted tumbler. Do not be afraid. It's super easy to do, and I can't wait to see your creations. Thanks so much to all our Patreons and all your support. Make sure you click that subscribe button so you'll be notified of any future tutorials. See you guys next week.